Judge ruling it unconstitutional.
If the Republicans and the Democrats get together, it's going to happen.
My son, I miss his beautiful smile, build the wall.
Enough of sacrificing our children, our citizens, to protect illegal aliens.
Major Matthew Goldstein is charged with murder after he committed on TV to killing a suspected Taliban bomb maker. Goldstein could face the death penalty.
Anti-government protesters stormed the streets of France for a fifth straight weekend, demanding better living standards and to let citizens make national policies.
How are you adulting? Millennials getting a crash course on basic life skills in school.
And this is because their teachers and their parents have failed them. They have failed millennials.
This is the shot of the morning, a bacon, you see it right here, vending machine.
Everything in here is ready to eat right out of the package.
How's it taste?
Real good.
Yeah.
Amazing. I ate a lot. It is not fake news that I have been spending the last 10 minutes since that segment eating.
You should have
bacon.
seen our floor staff lining up for the bacon. They were like, bacon, bacon, bacon. By the way, there is currently live this hour breaking a team of producers in the green room working on your present to me. How is it that our producers are putting together my present from you?
I had people.
Did you do no work or
Kate,
what?
thank you. No, I did a lot of. I'm a procrastinator.
There's literally a box of paper.
I thought of what I was going to give you weeks ago. I said, hold on to it. I want to give this to Ed Henry. It's a perfect gift for him.
Oh boy.
You're that guy that
the
buys
gift
the
that
Christmas
keeps on giving.
presents Christmas Eve morning.
I
Running
actually
out
am.
there.
Exactly.
I know your type.
Jedediah, welcome back.
Thank you so much.
great
It's
to have
been a
you.
blast.
Big showdown brewing right now over Obamacare. Remember, this federal judge basically digging in and saying that the entire law is unconstitutional. This could throw the law into chaos in the medium term. Remember, in the short term, you're not going to lose your coverage. But there's a question about millions of people who are covered now. As this battle plays out in the courts, what happens next?
Yeah, it'll have to be appealed. It would be appealed in the Fifth Circuit and then to the Supreme Court. But ultimately, this Texas judge, as you said, Ed said, hey, because the tax is no longer there, the whole law falls apart. Well, President Trump last night, what was the event? It was black tie.
It was a congressional ball, and he brought in Democrats and Republicans.
Congressional ball with Democrats and Republicans. He had this to say about, could they work together on this? We'll see.
I believe we're going to get really good health care. Exciting things happened over the last 24 hours. And if everybody's smart, because we have a lot of Democrats here tonight, and I'm very happy about that, people don't realize it. I have a lot of friends who are Democrats. And we have Democrats here. And if the Republicans and the Democrats get together, we are going to end up with incredible health care, which is the way it should have been from day one. And it's going to happen. It now has a chance to happen.
He sounds very optimistic about the ability of Republicans and Democrats to come together on this one. I don't know. I'm a little skeptical. They see it very differently. One person who does not like this ruling, President Obama, of course, this reflects his legacy, an attack on his legacy. He, on Facebook, posted, you might have heard about a federal court decision on a Republican lawsuit trying to strike down the Affordable Care Act in its entirety. That can be a scary thing to hear. He goes on to say, as this decision makes its way through the courts, which will take months, if not years, the law remains in place and will likely stay that way. Of course, encouraging people to sign up. You know, this Obamacare was the signature of his entire time as president. This was his big policy achievement, and I think it must be really frustrating for him to see it fall apart like this.
20 states came together to challenge the law, the constitutionality of it. One of those states was Arkansas. We had Leslie Rutledge. She's the attorney general of that state. She was willing to come on and talk about how, hey, the ball is in Congress's court to pass something that actually passes muster with our Constitution.
If you're going to pass something, make sure it is constitutionally sound. The Affordable Care Act never was constitutionally sound. It was rushed through in a fury several years ago, and it's time to correct that. It's time for Congress to take action. We want it to be affordable. We want Congress to pass laws and put in a new health care law in place of the Affordable Care Act that is in compliance with our U.S. Constitution.
You know, here's where she's right. This is a law built on lies, basically. You had a Democratic president with largely a Democratic Congress trying to jam through Obamacare on the idea you can keep your plan if you like it. No. You can keep your doctor if you like it. Not necessarily. And that all of this was going to work, that we were going to cover millions more people and we'd be able to afford it and premiums wouldn't spike.
Be cheaper.
Yep.
A lot of, and the premiums are going to come down. You're right. No, they were going, remember in the campaign in 2016, then candidate Donald Trump was reading off Arizona, 91% up, 89% up. I mean, it was outrageous, and it's still continuing, though, now, we should point out, on his watch. So the ball is in the court of Congress, as that attorney general said, but also in the court of now a Republican president.
It's such muddy waters. It's hard to see whose court the ball is actually in. No, it's true.
I think it's in Republicans' court because they face the challenge now.
But Obamacare passed it. It was a bad law, never followed through on what it was meant to do. They sort of challenged it and dismantled it by getting rid of the individual mandate. Now, it might be unconstitutional, but it's still going to be challenged in court. We'll see what Judge Roberts does at the Supreme Court. And both sides have totally divergent views of how to fix it. Medicare for all, government-run health care for the Dems. Republicans have talked about things like competition across state lines, transparency in costs, all of these things, not any of which are a silver bullet. This will be a 2020 campaign issue.
No doubt.
And I don't think anything happens. I appreciate the president's optimism in front of Democrats.
Do I.
Those like 1 or 2 or 3 Democratic friends that maybe he used to have and no longer has. But I don't see it being litigated anywhere other than at the
Listen, they
election
might be
box.
his friends, but that doesn't mean that they're going to see the role of government the same way. I mean, this is a very big issue, and it's a very polarizing issue. And if you feel that it's the government's responsibility to do this and the government is the most efficient mechanism to do it, that's going to go head-to-head with a free market conservative view.
They are more likely frenemies at this point. And let's face it, front and center in 2020 is not just health care. It'll be the economy. It'll also be immigration. President has a good story to tell on the economy right now. On immigration, it's a very mixed bag. Yes, he was ahead of the curve in saying we need to crack down on illegal immigration, but he hasn't gotten the funding for the wall that he's wanted, even though he had Republicans in the House and Senate at least nominally in charge. Of course, he needs 60 votes in the Senate, as he said over and over. But we're headed for that shutdown showdown you just saw a moment ago because the president is demanding $5 billion in wall funding. It's a down payment, really. It's not enough to actually build the whole wall. And Democrats are saying no, no, no.
They are saying, go ahead.
Does anyone else feel like they're in an episode of Groundhog Day with this shutdown stuff? I feel like every few months we have this conversation and Republicans talk about border security, and then the same thing happens, same conversation with the debt. Oh, yeah, we have to care about the debt, and all of a sudden it's a looming shutdown, and everyone says, oh, let's kick the can down the road. Enough is enough. You have so many stories coming out now about threatening our national security. You have so many people concerned about that. Listen, if you push this, kick this can down the road, you're never going to get it done. So at some point, you're going to have to do a partial government shutdown and just make sure that that border security takes a priority.
Every time the story comes up, there's one chapter in it where the establishment Republicans come to the White House and tell the president, sir, you just can't do this right now. This is really going to hurt us. We've got to move it forward and talk about something else. This is not that moment. This is the only moment he's going to get. I think a temporary pause, as I said yesterday, of a couple of weeks to get through the Christmas and New Year's season is fine.
Just that, though.
That's it. Otherwise, and don't give in to this shutdown nonsense. Most of the government is funded. You're going to get your mail, your airports are going to be screened, your military is going to be working, the vets are going to get you're going to get your Social Security check. Non-essential employees, of which there are way too many in the federal government, will get laid off temporarily, but they'll get back pay. You might not be able to go to the National Zoo in Washington, D.C. Boo-hoo. Don't care. Ultimately, will you get your wall funding or not? No, that is it.
You raise an important point. Because
I feel like I'm speaking for a lot of people out there who have seen the promises made and watch establishment Republicans miss the mark every time. This president wants it. Now is the time to fight.
The point I think you're making as well is that there's a lot of voices we're going to hear, and we're hearing now, we'll hear in the days ahead, of the potential of a shutdown. Voices that people in the mainstream media will highlight about, well, you know, this person's not getting their paycheck today. They're going to, there's going to be a deferral on that. Oh, the National Zoo is going to be shut down. These people are upset. What the voices you will not hear are voices like Agnes Giboney. She had her son killed by an illegal immigrant. She's a so-called angel mom. She was on the program earlier, and she had a direct message. You see her son right there, killed by an illegal immigrant. Agnes came here legally as an immigrant from Hungary, and she said she's fed up with what's going on at the border. She wants a wall, and she had a direct message for Chuck and Nancy.
Enough of sacrificing our children, our citizens, to protect illegal aliens who are breaking our laws by invading our country. Look at my family and thousands of other angel families. They are permanently separated and permanently affected by the lack of keeping sovereignty of our nation.
Well, she said it so clearly. Jedediah and I had the honor of talking to her. And it's hard because she's there with that T-shirt saying permanent family separation.
Right.
Because we've heard, again, the voices that you hear in the media mostly are, you know, the families being separated at the border.
ICE killed a 7-year-old kid.
He's a racist.
Yeah, it's important to hear. It's important to hear these voices, and you know, she held this rally. It was close to her heart, obviously, for her own personal loss, but also just to send a message to the president. She's met with the president numerous times. Now you have these people who have suffered losses coming out and saying, "Look, no more." She said herself, "If you got to shut the government down to do it, partial shutdown." As you said, you illustrated all those points about how it's not a real shutdown. But if you have to do it, the time is now, because nothing is more important than our national security.
Yeah, you're right. And some people feel like maybe they need to take it into their own hands. There was a New York Post op-ed headline that caught our eye, written by Michael Goodwin. Always got some interesting ideas. He wrote, "Why hasn't someone made a GoFundMe for Trump's wall?" Here's a quote from his op-ed. It said, "If Congress won't secure the borders, then it's necessary for the public to step in. It would be a modern and critical twist on the founders' ideal of self-government. Where do I send my check?" Now, Ed, I do know there have been some efforts to start GoFundMe pages like that. None have caught real traction.
They haven't caught fire, and the reason why I'm picking up the New York Post is that from that article, he quoted one of his readers, Jack Murray, who said, if the 63 million people who voted for Donald Trump each pledge $80, we can build the wall. 63 million voted for the president. They each kick in $80. You have the billions of dollars you need.
But isn't this sad? I mean, the primary job of the federal government is security. That's what it's there for. And people are looking at that federal government and saying, you know what? You're not doing your job, so now we, the people, have to step up and do your job to protect ourselves. I mean, it is a moment where you have to say, wow, look what it's come to.
I had an idea, part of which comes from Michelle Malkin. I'll cite my source. The president should go out and say, we're going to tax remittances from folks that came from Mexico or elsewhere and sending it home. So that's how we're going to pay for it. And then the president should announce, I'm going to start my own GoFundMe page. Because only he could do it. Just like if you want to get rid of Twitter, only he needs to go to a new platform to get everybody to go with. If he led that and he said, everybody give $100 for my border wall, how many of you would send that $100 check? Let us know. Friends at FoxNews.com. If President Trump started his own GoFundMe. Can you imagine if the president started a GoFundMe page? It's hilarious.
I want to see Pete's GoFundMe.
I know, right?
What would it be for?
I don't even want to know. Let's turn now to your headlines. A police officer is hit and killed while responding to a crash on a major highway. Officer Jason Quick was hit while crossing I-95 in North Carolina. He died at the hospital.
Officer Quick was an outstanding officer. He loved his job. Great attitude, just a good person.
Quick was on the force for a year and a half. It is unclear if the driver involved will be charged. There are new numbers giving us a clearer picture of the crisis at our southern border. Officials in Tijuana, Mexico, telling Fox News police have arrested about 280 migrants traveling in the caravan. Their crimes range from drug possession and public drunkenness to breaking into homes. About 6,000 migrants have made it to Tijuana. Comedian Kevin Hart no longer hosting the 2019 Oscars, and there's a few suggestions on who should replace him.
The Oscars. Who will risk everything for the chance to gain nothing?
Chris Hemsworth.
Host the Oscars. Why would anyone want to look at me?
Excuse me, Roseanne?
Oh, relax. It was an ambient. Everybody's so sensitive.
Saturday Night Live poking fun at the Academy last night. Those are your headlines. That was funny.
They're off the mark a lot, but that one was
right on. I got to say.
If the Oscars was hosted by NBC, I don't think they would have done that. Anyway. All right, if you know a millennial, you know they tend to complain every once in a while.
A little.
I'm a millennial, and I feel like we've got the tough job out here. The wind just keeps changing directions and hitting me in the face. I'm triggered by bacon being inside and me being outside.
Well, he's one of our own. Now we're sending Adam and his millennial buddies to Adulting 101. It's a class. What does it mean? We're going to explain. Former FBI Director James Comey heading back to Capitol Hill tomorrow.
So last time he said, I don't know a lot. What should Congress focus on this time? Here to weigh in, Fox News contributor Sarah Carter. Good to see you this morning.
Good to see you.
Good morning, everyone.
Boy, last time you were all over this, as always, over, 200 or so times. You said, I don't know, I don't recall. How do you pin this man down?
He has extraordinary memory lapses. They've got to go back to those questions. First of all, he wasn't straightforward with them on the factual predicate of what started the investigation. I would hit him really hard on that. He said, no, the dossier didn't start it. And then when Gowdy kept pressuring him, he said, well, what was the factual predicate for actually opening this investigation? He couldn't remember. So if he remembered that it wasn't the dossier, but he couldn't remember the factual predicate, I have a hard time believing that. I think they need to hit him really hard on that, and they need to go back to the dossier itself. He admitted himself that by the time he left the FBI in May 2017, that the FBI still hadn't validated the dossier. So why was the dossier used as part of the FISA warrant to begin with? I would go back to that as well.
It's shocking. I mean, of course he understands where it started for something of this consequence. Well, another thing he might get asked about are those text messages. The president just tweeted 2 or 3 minutes ago, he said this. He said, so where are all the missing text messages between fired FBI agents Peter S. and lovely Lisa Page, his lover, just reported that they have been erased and wiped clean. What an outrage as the totally compromised and conflicted witch hunt moves ever so slowly forward. Want them. Help me, Sarah. How many of the text messages have we seen? Are these that we haven't seen? Help me out with these text messages.
This is extraordinary, Pete. I mean, think about this. They are saying that, you know, we have Michael Flynn, his sentencing hearing is on December 18th because he can't, you know, he pled guilty to 1 count of lying, which the FBI, by the way, had said over and over again, well, he wasn't lying. Here you have the government basically destroying, is what people believe, the sources that I've talked to, over 19,000 messages just gone, completely disappeared. They can't recover them. You have Inspector General Michael Horowitz, who discovered a whole slew of text messages that everybody said had disappeared as well. So there is something extraordinary happening here. There is a double standard. I believe they can find those text messages. I've talked to a number of tech experts who said, look, get us those phones, get it to us now, and we can find them. I know that they had the capability. Michael Horowitz was able to do that before, but we definitely need to hold them accountable. That is evidence. That is evidence that possibly could answer a lot of questions for us about Peter Strzok, Lisa Page, and we need to do one more thing. I believe this is vitally important. Actually, 2 more things. The president needs to declassify all of these documents. If he declassified these documents, we would know what to ask. At least Congress would know what to ask Comey tomorrow. Yes?
All right, Sarah. We appreciate your time
Thanks
today.
so much, Sarah.
Thanks, Sarah. Appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.
Wow.
Good stuff.
Deleting texts we haven't seen. We probably should.
Yeah.
All right, more bleach bit. A former decorated Green Beret now charged in the killing of a Taliban bomb maker. And now he could face the death penalty from our own government. His beloved wife says this is a complete travesty. She joins us live, coming up next.
The rules of luxury. Look, but don't touch. Touch, but don't use. Use, but don't enjoy. Enjoy, but don't show it.
If you're going to follow one rule, make sure it's this one. Luxury should be lived in. Lease the Infiniti QX50 for $379 a month, plus get a special winter bonus at the Infiniti Winter Sales Event. Infiniti, empower the drive.
I was looking for the perfect jacket, then I found Scotty Vest.
They took a classic well-made jacket and packed it with thoughtfully designed features.
Scotty Vest is the only jacket you'll ever need.
Get 20% off today with code TV20.
I was pretty content. Not really thinking about dating.
But my daughter said, why not just use Out There? So I took a look on Our Time.
I quickly saw great people my age.
I've got to admit, it sure is fun looking.
And people are looking back.
Our Time. Just take a look for free today.
That was great.
Yeah, I don't think I can eat another butt.
King's Hawaiian roll.
Irresistible King's Hawaiian Rolls. Just may be the best part of your holiday meal.
I knew these would be a hit.
Go from dry eyes to happy eyes. From really burns to really works. Clinically proven TheraTears is more than eye drops. It's dry eye therapy. Dry eye symptoms can be caused by a salt imbalance. TheraTears electrolyte formula was created by an eye doctor to restore the natural balance. So your eyes will be happy, healthier TheraTears eyes. And for extraordinary relief, try new TheraTears Extra.
If you're looking for the perfect holiday gift for someone special to you, give a gift that will be truly appreciated. The Omaha Steaks Favorite Gift Package. It's filled with $232 worth of great food for just $59.99. That's 74% off only on this special holiday offer. The people on your nice list will receive 4 tender, mouth-watering filet mignons, 4 extra thick boneless pork chops, 4 premium boneless chicken breasts, 4 classic juicy Omaha Steaks burgers, 4 stuffed baked potatoes, and 4 caramel apple tartlets. Your order will be delivered straight to your home or the destination of your choice, so you can give this wonderful gift to anybody on your holiday list. As a special holiday gift from us to you, if you order right now, we'll include 4 additional Omaha Steaks burgers free. That's 8 total. You get it all. Omaha Steaks Favorite Gift Package, a $232 value for just $59.99. Give everyone a gift they can appreciate. Give them the Favorite Gift Package from Omaha Steaks today.
A once decorated Green Beret now could face the death penalty from our own government. Major Matthew Goldstein is being charged with a 2010 killing of a Taliban bomb maker. That bomb maker was responsible, we know, for the deaths of 2 Marines in his unit. His lawyer calling this move an act of betrayal by the Army, who's been investigating the death on and off for years. Here now to react is Major Goldstein's wife, Julie Goldstein. Julie, thank you so much for being here this morning.
Thank you for having
Thank
me
you for your
this morning,
husband's
Pete.
service. Thank you for your service. The families serve alongside warfighters, especially in the special operations community. What you have endured is more than most men or women in this country will ever know. And so I want you to know we express that gratitude to you and to your husband.
Thank you.
But help us, put us in your shoes, the shoes of your husband, who's been going through since he was awarded the Silver Star, nominated for the Distinguished Service Cross, which is just below the Medal of Honor for heroic actions on the battlefield. He wanted to bring his men home. What has he been through since?
This situation is extremely challenging for our family. You know, Matt has a 12-year-old son. We have a brand new baby. And he is, once again, you know, he was lucky enough to survive war and has come home to be ripped apart by his own government and the Army leadership. So it is extremely disappointing and absolutely reprehensible what they have done to him. And for them to charge him with premeditated murder is almost laughable, and it would be laughable if it wasn't so serious and disgusting.
Premeditated murder because he admitted openly in an interview on our news channel, as well as in an interview with the CIA, that he was a part of killing a Taliban bomb maker who we know had killed 2 Marines earlier that day. He also knew that this Taliban bomb maker would immediately be released, and through that release would compromise sources and get other people killed. How is that cold-blooded murder?
And I'll actually say he was released. He was not a detainee. There are a lot of words flying around that make this very difficult for us as a family. I know my husband, I know his heart, and I know his character. And he did not confess to murder on television. He actually went on to Bret Baier to be an advocate for other men like Clint Lorance, who are in prison for doing their jobs. And he is just, you know, I know him. And to think that he killed someone in cold blood, which is another phrase that we've heard tossed around, is absolutely, I don't even have a word for it. It is just so disgusting.
Absolutely.
We have had, you know, this is extremely challenging and it is rage-inducing, but it is also very humbling to feel the love and support from all over this country, from the people who support him and know him and who have served with him. And I want to thank the families of Jeremy and Larry, who are the 2 Marines who did not come home. Because I am lucky enough to have my husband, and I will have my husband. And they are not home with their families, their wives, their girlfriends, their moms, their sisters.
So well said. Julie, what is your message to political leaders, to leaders in the Pentagon, to others who the rules, the bureaucracy, the rules of war get twisted in certain ways where now war heroes are being prosecuted like criminals? What's your message to them?
Absolutely. You know, my message is that Matt was cleared of wrongdoing in 2015. We have moved on with our lives. We have moved. We have had a new baby. We have, you know, moved on. We are waiting for someone to do the right thing. It is time for someone in Army leadership to crawl out from the blanket of anonymity under which they hide and take responsibility for this and step in and do the right thing.
What's the next step here, Julie, for your family and for Matt?
Well, we are going to go home and we are going to pack up our 2-month-old son and head back to Fort Bragg so that he can report tomorrow. And then head right back here so he can go to work on Tuesday morning and do it all again on Thursday and Friday. This is not exactly how I plan to spend my Christmas season, especially with a newborn.
Wow. Well, our thoughts are with you, and I know he's going to fight it just like he fought for so many
Absolutely.
of us on the battlefield. Keep us posted, please,
we will.
on this case. We're going to stay right on top of it.
Thank you, Pete, so much.
Julie, thank you. More Fox and Friends.
Thank you.
On the other side.
I'm a millennial, and I feel like we've got the tough job out here. The wind just keeps changing directions and hitting me in the face. I'm triggered. I'm triggered by Bacon being inside and me being outside.
He's complaining. He's triggered.
You guys are inside eating bacon. Kind of tough.
You're just playing into the stereotype for us, brother.
Am I supposed to be defending us? Right? Listen,
that was earlier on the show. It was raining outside. We were eating bacon inside. So
you okay? Was the rain okay?
You guys are mad that I got a participation trophy. When I was 8 years old, we didn't band together and demand those. Someone gave them to us. So if there's anyone to blame, it's whoever was handing those out.
Yeah. What if we sent you to Adulting 101? The reason we're talking about this, there's now adulting classes in a couple states teaching millennials like you, basic skills, sewing, cooking.
Why do I need to know how to sew or cook? I've got
practical skills.
I can order food. I can go to
These are very millennial answers.
Have you ever sewn anything ever?
No, I don't know how to sew.
You don't know how to sew?
Either.
I do know how to sew.
You do?
You do?
Is that a millennial thing?
Not well, but
I don't know how to sew.
You know how to sew? What about write a check? Have you ever written a check?
What? You can just nowadays you can just put your phone up to the thing and it pays it.
It's true. I mean,
are you like a Venmo guy?
But yeah, I do Venmo.
Do you do your laundry?
Yes, I do my historically, I did my laundry when I was like a little kid. I've always done my laundry, but now in this city, you don't get a washing machine.
It's true.
You can't unless you have a mansion. You don't get a washing machine, so no, I have to drop off.
It's like a city for millennials.
Yeah, I do think a lot of millennials get a bad rap. I'm married to a millennial who's actually more mature than I am, so I have to say it's not everyone, but I do find a trend.
I want to say something to defend us.
All right, you tell us.
People are frustrated at times with this country and the middle class is getting squeezed. We are graduated into that middle class. We have a ton of debt. We're dealing with all these same things, and we weren't in charge, and we didn't put us in that position. And then we get blamed. We inherited a lot of issues, and then we get blamed.
Is our question. What are you doing to help?
Well, we're not in charge yet.
Just passing the buck.
But what's happening to us?
I caught a tweet. One of our staff members, Avi Greenberger, he tweeted this. I didn't know who it was at first. I didn't look at the name. I just was reading it. I thought this is a great tweet. He said, "My parents are on my plan. Same for cable TV, and they use my Hulu, Netflix, and Amazon logins, #millennials." So he's saying his parents are actually drafting off of him.
I know tons of my friends and their parents use their Netflix and their Hulu.
Yeah, but that's because a lot of like my dad doesn't know how to work that stuff, so he'll call me.
Right, so my mom uses I use my mom's cell phone plan, and then I tell my mom how to use her cell phone, and it's kind of a quick
but it goes both ways, because then those like my dad can read a roadmap better than I ever could. So there's different skill sets. We also have an email from Kathy in Pennsylvania who says, "I am a baby boomer who raised 5 sons. 2 are millennials. All worked their way through college. They all have good jobs and are raising families. I taught them how to cook and balance a checkbook. I was a single working mom and tough."
Well, you certainly sound
good
tough.
for you.
There were no excuses, Adam, in that email.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. I'm not making excuses. I am, but
I'm just trying to put you in a bad
spot. All right, here's an email from Denise. We used to have these classes in junior high. It was called home ec.
Right.
Shop class in business math. Maybe these classes should be brought back. She raised a good point. I took home ec classes. I had to learn how to bake. The shop classes, woodworking, and all that.
I took home ec. I never took shop class. I think it's the only class I regret never taking, because I can't disassemble or assemble an engine, small engine, stuff like that. It would be really nice to know how to do.
Let me just say, I'm not a millennial, and I don't know how to do any of that stuff. So some of it is just,
I stand by us. I think the future is bright.
And
that's going to be my final.
Listen, you guys are tech savvy. We need you to be tech savvy. That's like the future is tech.
We're fine in the future.
The jury's out. Let us know. Friends at FoxNews.com.
Well, it was great hearing your side of the story.
Thanks for coming on.
I appreciate it.
I tried to defend you a little bit.
I did my best.
And his socks read bad for badness sake.
And I got a good for goodness sake, too.
Oh, okay.
All right.
All right, we have to turn now to some headlines. Take a look at this. A brazen display of road rage caught on camera.
¡Ya cálmese!
A woman took a metal pole to a Volkswagen in Mexico. She then drives her car right at it. She's been nicknamed Lady Loca online. Local media report the rage started after the two vehicles were involved in a crash. Trash Day is this little boy's favorite day of the week. He greets the truck every time it comes, but this time the Indiana worker showed up with gifts.
Wow. Now you're official Ray's employee.
Oh, I love this. He gave the 2-year-old a t-shirt, hat, and his own mini trash truck. That's adorable.
That's great. That's cool.
A mascot body slams a fan in Chicago.
Oh, no.
A fan allegedly punched the Blackhawks mascot, Tommy Hawk, and put him in a headlock. Tommy fought back, grabbing the fan, throwing him to the ground. The team is looking into the incident.
Wow.
Those are your headlines.
Probably
it's
a
pretty
millennial,
intense.
right?
Could be a millennial, you never know.
Everyone thinks the mascot is open game, fair game, but no.
No.
Sometimes they fight back.
That's true.
Just like Adam, just punch back it up?
Yeah, you got to fight back sometimes. The mascot get him on here and defend themselves. Hopefully I did it okay with millennials. I was here defending millennials so hard, guys, that I left my clicker, and now I'm not going to be able to do my job very well. It's kind of hilarious, maybe. Another excuse.
Yeah.
But I do have the graph that sets up the storm that we've been seeing here along the East Coast. Actually flooding in the Mid-Atlantic yesterday. This system now moving up into New York, eventually here into New England. The backside of this system, it's going to get some cold air wrap around it. I do think inland communities, upstate New York, if you're running up into Maine, these are all going to be areas that see a little bit of snow with this. I've been getting a lot of questions online. Are we going to see a white Christmas? Still 9 days out, so a little bit too early to know that, guys. But we're going to see some cold weather move in, at least here across the upper portions of the country in the next couple of days.
So it turns out you are kind of resourcall.
There you go.
You got to do what you got to do.
You got it done without the clicker.
And he does
do
his
more
job
with less.
well.
That's what we do.
I like it.
Nice
Adam, thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
All right.
All right, well, the showdown heating up over Obamacare. So what happens next? We've got Maria Bartiromo here to tell us about it, coming up live.
Plus, 'tis the season to deck the halls. So what do your decorations say about you? We've got some keen analysis straight ahead.
I really want my house to be seen from space.
I figured.
Welcome back. Couple of quick headlines for you. Starbucks will soon start delivering coffee. The service will be available at 2,000 locations nationwide. It's too difficult for you to walk to Starbucks. The chain battles a slowdown in sales. Starbucks is teaming up with Uber Eats and expects to roll out Uber Drinks, is what it is, service by next summer. Adam will be ordering. And Hasbro is dishing out a tasty new version of Monopoly. Instead of buying up real estate, players buy up different kinds of pizza. The game even comes in a pizza box, and it went on sale on Friday. Sounds like a perfect segment for Fox and Friends next week.
Yeah, we'll be all over it, I guarantee you. All right, the president outlining his vision for health care reform after a federal judge strikes down former President Obama's signature health care law, setting up yet another showdown.
I believe we're going to get really good health care. If the Republicans and the Democrats get together, we are going to end up with incredible health care, which is the way it should have been from day one. And it's going to happen. It now has a chance to happen.
Well, former President Obama taking to Facebook to downplay it, saying in part, and I quote, "As this decision makes its way through the courts, which will take months, if not years, the law remains in place and will likely stay that way."
Here to react, Fox News Sunday host Maria Bartiromo. Maria, thank you so much for being here.
Okay, thank you so much.
You know, I've been saying all morning, President Trump is sounding very optimistic about the ability of Republicans and Democrats to sort of meet in the middle on this and make something happen. I feel like they see this issue too differently to come together. What do you think?
Well, I mean, now we can actually see if the Democrats have a plan for health care. This is what they've been promising this entire campaign season. I mean, the point of all of this is now that there's no penalty for those people who do not have insurance, then the law cannot stand. But this entire midterm election season, we've been hearing healthcare is number one issue. We have a plan. We're going to fix this. So next question, does the Supreme Court rule the same way as this federal judge? And will the Democrats be able to pull something together and make something happen in the new Congress?
Don't they have a plan? And it looks like Bernie Sanders style government-run health care. It's Medicare for all. Will that become the de facto spot for Democrats?
Well, probably. But, that's not going to get them passage of a law because they're going to need their Republican colleagues there in place. So, I mean, this is actually cutting to the chase. Are we going to see 2 years of investigations, a lot of bluster against President Trump, or are we going to see actual legislation get crafted and the work to be done for the American people? We'll see about that. I'm going to ask Tim Ryan today. Congressman Ryan is from Ohio. He's a moderate Democrat. He wants to get things done. He may even want to challenge President Trump in 2020. So he's one that I'm going to be asking this morning about all of this, as well as the fact that he put term limits in place. He was among the leadership to put term limits in place for Nancy Pelosi.
He flipped in his support for her.
That's right, because she agreed to term limits, which I'm questioning. She was going to have 2 years. Now she's got 4.
Yeah,
right.
she got
I don't even understand this.
Pretty good gig.
So you mentioned investigations. Democrats claim they want to get some stuff done. Meanwhile, we hear nonstop subpoenas. They're already lining up. They're investigating Trump Organization, Trump presidency, the inaugural. You can go down the list. Some news this morning. President tweeting about the FBI again. Peter Strzok and Lisa Page, you've been on that story from day one. But Rudy Giuliani, as I understand it, was on Fox News Sunday. And when asked by Chris Wallace, will you let the president sit down with Robert Mueller, he said something like, over my dead body.
Right, because why would the president sit for an interview when he knows all of the malfeasance that has gone on within the top ranks of the FBI? Now, this upcoming week, Jim Comey will testify again. Loretta Lynch expected to testify in a closed-door meeting. Possibly Rod Rosenstein. We're not sure. I'm going to speak with Darrell Issa, the congressman from California, who's going to be face-to-face with Jim Comey and Loretta Lynch this upcoming week, as well. Devin Nunes obviously has been on this from day one as well. People want accountability, Ed. I mean, at this point, it looks like they got away with it. We know what happened with Peter Strzok and Lisa Page and those hate texts against the president. So we're going to talk about that. And then, of course, the other angle to this story is the president's incoming AG. Yeah. He's got to get the right attorney general in there to handle all of this, as well as make sure that you're seeking the truth. And that's why we've got former AG Michael Mukasey on this morning to talk about that.
Equal justice under the law, a novel concept these days.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Sunday Morning Futures, Ian,
Don't
about
miss
14
it. Top of the hour.
Thanks
for
so
being here, Maria.
Thank you.
All right, some fun as well. 'Tis the season to deck the halls. So what does your light display say about you? Yeah, we're doing some deep analysis on this one. And I have a couple of gifts for Jed and Pete. That's next.
I got one, too.
Oh, I can't wait to get my gift. All right.
We should have got Maria a gift.
Yeah,
where's my gift?
She's the gift that keeps on giving. She's so good. All right, so we were talking about this. What do your holiday light displays, I guess, say about you? You shine so bright. Which holiday light display are you, and what does it say? If you like the white lights, you like the icicles, you like the red and green.
So, small white twinkly lights. You are a traditionalist, so that would be me actually, and that's pretty accurate.
I think that's about right.
Yeah,
I actually do think you can glean a lot from people's lights. Now, the icicle lights. Move to the next one. You know what you like, and your car is really clean.
So is that you, or?
Apparently, no, that's not me. I mean, my car is clean, but I'm not an icicle lights guy.
Yeah, I like the multicolored ones.
Oh,
but the wall, a single outline of the garage door. You're spending Christmas Day with your parents.
Does that tie back to the millennial segment? I'm not sure.
Might be. I want to do something, but I'm doing a little.
What is absolute chaos?
Oh, it's that's like the wild lights everywhere, a lot of colors. You know, everyone in the neighborhood. That would be you, Ed, actually.
Well, I got this. I took out my pocket square and I put in some lights here because I don't know if you can see them that well. They're not that bright. Oh wait.
There we go. Don't let the banner block.
You can kind of see them. You can kind of see them.
Pretty nice.
I like all the different lights.
He's always got flair.
I like absolute chaos.
I like absolute chaos. He's a white lights guy, you know, establishment.
Hey, I'm not establishment. I like white lights.
Yeah.
You're the exception to the rule.
That's
the rule.
Oh, here we go.
We have photos from viewers, actually. We have a photo from Al. I guess I'm another category. I'm 65, and I'm old school with mostly large colored lights. That looks beautiful, Al.
I do like the large color lights.
Yeah, they are beautiful outside. Yep.
And this photo from John says multicolored lit up icicles draped across his garage.
That's pretty cool.
Oh, I like that.
But how do you get in your garage then?
You're not going to use it. You got to keep the clean car. All right, Barbara sends in this photo. Show colored lights around front of her home and draped across the front bushes. Yeah, that's
really
cool.
pretty.
I like that.
There's like light netting.
One from Tony in Massachusetts. Not sure what this says about me, but the neighborhood loves my mermaid. Ooh, that's creative.
What's the deal?
Maybe an artiste.
Like the modified lamp, the leg lamp from Christmas Story.
Yeah.
Well, it's been great having Jed here. I'm not going to be here next week. I'm taking some family time. So I thought, I was listening closely to Jed saying what she really likes. So I know you're here next weekend.
This better not
Pete.
be a snake or something. I'm not even going to.
No, so I'm not going to scare you. This is legit.
Do you want me to open it now?
Ed is actually, I will say this, Ed is a good gift giver.
Really?
He's got an eye for things.
I just think.
Really?
So untuck it, which is a man's clothing.
Oh, I'm so excited. Wow. Oh, he really does listen.
You said that you like the roomy stuff.
I love this. It's a roomy, it's a flannel, it's cozy.
So when you're waiting for your mom's lasagna on Christmas
there you go.
morning,
I'm going to take a picture on Christmas morning wearing this. Thank you, Ed.
That's a real gift.
That's a real gift. I was ready to get like a snake popping out of a box or something.
That'd probably be more like what I usually do. Now, I was so excited about this one. I think this typifies Pete. But then it's sort of a dual use, you'll see. So, Merry Christmas.
Are you scared?
Thank you, Ed. Appreciate it. Am I scared? Of course.
You live in fear?
Did you do it?
I did it. I went for it, all in.
Oh, it's the Trumpy Bear.
Yes! Says Pete Hanks says more than the Trumpy Bear. I'm sitting there watching Fox.
Oh, that is
amazing. This guy advertises all the time. It's got the Trump bear, it's got the red tie. I'm thinking MAGA bear, and then I thought you could bring it home to Gwenny. So it's still used.
My
daughter can use
this will have a prominent spot. It's got the red tie.
It's very soft.
When you see the commercials, you don't think it's real at first. You think
That's
it's
why I
a
ordered it. I'm
parody.
like, this is real. Oh, and actually, in my office, I have a certificate of ownership. I got to get it. I swear. They send you a birth certificate.
You better give me that certificate. Trumpy, I don't know what I'm going to name him, but I'll figure it out. Ed, I've got something for you. Now, I only got it because you told me you were getting me something. I'm not as thoughtful as you. But, but as I hand this to you, let's roll a little reminder.
Here we go.
No.
What's the reminder?
I got my waffle maker over here. I'm going to make
Look at
waffles
that. Maybe you can make some on live TV.
My kids love it. I've never made it at home. Now I can.
Oh, you've already failed.
You put it down, and then you flip it this way.
So it's kind of like idiot-proof. All right.
Yeah, maybe not. Maybe not. Ed, you accused me. Go ahead and open it. You accused me of stealing the waffle maker.
Oh, I do remember that. No, I do.
Yes, you did.
Are you talking about regift? Is this regifted?
I didn't say anything like that.
You regifted the waffle maker.
And
I'm
I
a witness to that accusation.
Not only did I regift it, but it hasn't been cleaned.
Oh, wait.
So
it's a dirty waffle maker?
It's got the original.
There's not like a stale waffle in there.
But you can use it. It works great.
Really? This is your gift?
It's journalist proof. It works great. That is my gift.
Do you think?
I think you did better.
Is the president a regifter?
There's waffle residue on the back. I'm not exaggerating.
I'm really disappointed. I mean, I don't know how else to express this. I mean, you were out there with Kate, one of our producers, like.
I know. I was like,
hey, we got to do it. I'm like, okay, I thought this was.
You thought you were getting something real good. I know.
A used waffle maker?
I give love to you every week. I love you every day. And so I feel like Christmas is just another excuse to do something.
Listen, they're playing slow. So I'll be back the weekend after Christmas. I feel like maybe we should do a redo or something.
No, there's no redoing. Just because you don't like your gift.
I'm very happy.
You're that guy who takes a great gift and then re-gifts
we got a viewer email though from Gino. I don't know what it says. Pete. Oh, I'm disappointed in you. That was a terrible gift.
Gino, I love you.
Sorry, Gino. But I did. Well, I'll give Ed credit. I actually noticed there's a zipper in the back of the Trumpy Bear.
Look at that.
There's an American flag.
He's got a flag.
He's a patriot.
Cape.
Look at that.
Head
Superhero.
FoxandFriends.com for the After the Show.
Ed, best gift ever.
That's awesome.
Have a great Sunday, everybody. Merry Christmas.
Good Sunday morning, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Maria Bartiromo. Right now on Sunday Morning Futures, House Intelligence Chairman Devin Nunes on Robert Mueller being forced to pull back the curtain on how the special counsel parlayed the controversial use of FBI tactics to take down